All right. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Appreciate y'all being here. Got our second exhibition game tomorrow night. Really appreciate everybody that came out on Sunday. We had a nice little crowd on Sunday afternoon, and our kids played really well. I was pleasantly surprised. So we've had 3 workouts this week, and then we'll play again tomorrow night, and we'll have one more week before we get going. So basketball season's here. We're going to practice in the Moody tonight. It's not going to be available till 5:30, so we're practicing late today. But excited about our team. We're getting healthy. That's probably the biggest thing. So hopefully we'll have 1 or 2 more available tomorrow night.
Questions? Danny?
Vic, before I guess we start talking about basketball, can you touch a little bit about Annette and the decision to retire her jersey and just kind of what you know about her and what she contributed to this program?
Yeah, well, she was really good way back in the day. She'd probably be really good today. Just looking back at the history, recovering from a pretty significant knee injury, back in those days, that was a pretty. I mean, it's already a serious deal today, but back then it was really significant, and her ability to come back from that, and I believe she was part of that national championship team. So all-time leading scorer in the history of Texas basketball, men or women. And as y'all know, it's probably going to become harder and harder to score 2,600 points in your college career, men or women. She worked here. She impacted lots of young student athletes here, both in basketball and in an administrative role. So it really is. It's an honor for us to be able to share in this honor with her, and rightfully so, to retire her jersey, because she certainly warrants it.
What do you want to see from your team on Friday? Obviously, Wayland Baptist is not DePaul, but what do you want to see from them as you get ready?
I want to see us take care of the ball. Like, we had 19 turnovers. Turnovers have been a problem in practice, so I'd really like to see us take care of the ball a lot better. We talked yesterday about obsessing, wanting to be a good rebounding team, obsessing about, the fundamentals. And part of the fundamentals is taking care of the ball, rebounding. And so we really, I want that to be a focal point for us in practice, this day forward, yesterday forward, and tomorrow night. I would hope we're not throwing the ball to the other team. We need to really value the basketball. 19 turnovers was a real glaring number for me. Still scored 105 points, and that's 38 points that we didn't even have a chance to score. So I'd like to see us take care of the ball.
Shaylee, what have been some of the team building exercises, or how's the team building gone? And you got some serious new firepower on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I got here, 3 months ago. We have a lot of different transfers. So we got a young team too. So I feel like we got a lot of newbies, and I feel like we've done a good job at, hanging out as a team outside of basketball, so we can build that chemistry on the floor, because that's really important, because, we got to play together as a team to win, and we know that. But, I mean, I've had lots of fun here, and I'm just blessed to be here.
What's the biggest thing you think you bring to this team?
I feel like I bring a calm type of play. I feel like being a point guard, you got to be able to run your team and to set up those plays. And, when during the free throws, you got to get your team together. If you're sped up, like Coach said, we got to work on our turnovers. Trying to be more of a vocal leader is really important for me.
What has it been like, Shaylee, for you, as far as the exhibition, was it kind of seamless out there with your teammates, or were there moments where you're just guys still trying to figure out some stuff?
I feel like here and there's some points where we need to, fix things, but I feel like we're slowly getting into it. good thing we have 2 exhibition games so we can get ready for our first game. And, just practices is really important where we can play together and build that chemistry is really important.
Vic, do you change the way you run your offense at all now that in addition to Rory, you have Shaylee, you have someone who's a vet like Sonia, people who can handle the ball and run the offense? Does that change? Is there a chance you're going to have all 3 of them on the court at the same time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to have all 3 on the same. I think we started them all, the other night. So, yeah, it actually makes things a lot better when you got guards that can handle the ball. And that's kind of been an issue for us in the past. So both Shaylee and Sonia have some point guard in them. And, of course, with Rory out there, I mean, it's a lot of fun to play off the ball because she's going to find you if you're open. And we have some, I think offensively we have a lot of weapons when we have that lineup out there. So you're going to see that lineup a lot. I would have liked to have played Jakalinga a little bit more the other night, but she was in foul trouble. But, it's a good lineup to have out there. And it really, I think, for our offense, what we do with it's really a lot better, actually.
You were talking about getting healthy. Where have you been hamstrung the most by injury?
Yeah, so Pham was out last week, and so was Taylor. Pham will be available, and Taylor's getting healthy. And so getting those 2 and adding them to the mix inside will be nice to have. Give us one more inside, depending on some other things. Tomorrow night we'll have to wait and see. But just getting those 2 back in the fold, and Nisa also will be. She's getting closer and closer to full return, and so we've had 3 kids that typically practice a lot, haven't been in practice. You throw Kendall in that mix, who hasn't been in practice, and so it's, to me that affects our team in a negative way. So we got to get all those kids back and get them healthy and get them where they can contribute a little bit, because I think our team really benefits when we have everybody there.
Are you trying to pull the vocal side of her out?
Yeah, she not. That's I think that's not her comfort zone right now. I give her a hard time a lot, Bob, in practice because, again, our kids' experience the other night, we only had 3,400, but, man, it was pretty good environment and pretty loud, and they had a good time with that, enjoyed that, want those people there, but, they're going to have to up the octaves, and I give her a hard time with that because when she is vocal trying to run plays, it's that VW, and I need the 18-wheeler, and so we talked to her in terms of getting more comfortable doing it that way. So and she's trying, and it's just not something that's maybe been asked of her before, and so now we got to get that out of her.
Yeah, Shaylee, I mean, in terms of how different is it playing in Vic's system and the demands from from what you've had to play in the past?
Yeah, so I came from the WCC conference, and this is just a bigger step up. You're playing with bigger, faster, stronger athletes. It's more demanding. It is hard playing for Coach Vic, but I feel like it's going to push me in different aspects that I've never been pushed before and that I've been wanting to get pushed by. So I feel like it'll make me a better player by being here.
What's the toughest thing? What's the biggest adjustment?
Probably just being, trying to be able to remember all the plays and to just, play in a different environment and to play against, like I said, bigger, stronger, faster girls.
Vic, going back to Rory, what do you need her to do this year? Obviously, she didn't score a lot in the exhibition, but she didn't need to.
Right.
I'm sure that's a point that's been raised. What do you need for her to do?
Yeah, I think, Danny, it'll change. I think everybody's scouting report's probably going to start with her. and so certain nights she's got a lot of help. She can have fun getting them the ball, and then some nights when they take away Slim and Sonia and Amo, Deanna, then she can step up and take advantage of that. So I think night in and night out, certain things will change. The one thing I need from her to do every night is just be that energy for us that really that I think our team feeds off of. And then she knows at her position, she got to take care of the ball. And I think if she'll take care of the ball, you know, it kind of permeates through our team. But, you know, she just affects the game in so many ways, and it usually starts with that energy, you know, and just how her presence. She has such a presence on the floor, and so I think that that's something that we've got to really, you know, she knows I rely on that heavily, and our team does too. So the scoring piece the other night, we scored 105 points. She had 3, you know, and yet I thought she was spectacular running our team and defending and creating problems, and had 10 assists. So she had her hand in a lot of points, even though her points personally weren't high. She had her hands in a lot of points, and you think about it, I think Shay missed 2 layups, and we had some post players miss some easy buckets, and so she could easily had 14 or 15 assists.
Is this a team you're having to spend a ton of practice time just working defense, or do they get it? You know, how's that going?
No, they don't get it. But none of them do after 24 practices. So, you know, we're a work in progress defensively. But I think you saw the other day we had some good possessions defensively. And so I have a lot of confidence that we'll be able to get there defensively. I think offensively, I think they'll tell you we work equally, you know, every day, offense and defense. But I think offensively is what's really unique about this team. Is we got a number of weapons and things that we can do that we can score the ball. You know, to add to Danny's question about tomorrow night, I'd like to see us foul less too. I just thought we fouled too much the other night. Now, you have to remember we're a pretty long, athletic team. We have big guards. Jock and Slim are big. They're tall, and so you don't want to take that from them. I mean, that's something that we're really good at. So, but we've got to learn to foul a little bit less, but you know, defense is going to be the last thing we get. It always is, and you know, I just have to keep my sanity until we get to that day.
Do you think you get it?
Huh?
Do you think you get it?
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't come out that way though on the floor.
What's the toughest part of that side of it? Trying to really understand what he's
Of defense,
yeah,
like
what he's asking you to
specifically?
tell defensively.
I think it's a faster pace, so you just got to realize, like, you got to know it quick. I think I'm still trying to learn, you know, his type of way of coaching and, like, how to fit into the program, and his style of play is what I'm still trying to, you know, figure out. But I'm getting there.
Do the veterans at that, can they give you
Oh,
any
yeah.
kind of insight, or is it something that you
Yeah,
just
I'm
have to
listening
do?
from I'm taking in things from everyone, so just trying to learn everything. Yeah.
Did you bring the Slim nickname with you from BYU, or is that just something he started to call you?
So my dad calls me that, and no one ever called me that till he heard my dad call me that. So now he calls me that.
Hey, can you introduce us to the walk-on on your team and how she came to be all-on?
Yeah, so Sarah, she'd been at practice since day one, and didn't really miss any practices while she was waiting for tryouts. And then we had tryouts, and you know, I think she probably had some offers at some smaller schools, but Texas has kind of been her dream school academically all along, and so we had tryouts, and she certainly stood out in tryouts, and kid can make a shot. She's a pretty good shooter. Again, just like anybody, you're learning the speed of the game, and understanding your window is not what it was in high school. You know, your window of being open's about, that's wide open right there, you know, and in high school it may be here to the wall, but if you're wide open at this level, it's literally, that's pretty good window. And so, you know, here's the thing, when you're a walk-on for me, or you can't be a drill buster. You know, I got to have people that know the game, understand the game. And Anissa, when we took her, you know, she really added something to our team. She's selfless. She's so appreciative of everything that she has been, you know, afforded here, and just a wonderful kid. And, you know, Sarah's in that same line, where she understands her role and is willing to do what it takes to help the team. And so the biggest thing, though, is no drill busters, and she can make a shot. So you got to guard her, and she warrants your attention in that avenue. So, again, a kid that didn't even get to try out till, I don't know, 16 days into practice. So she was at every practice, every day, just paying attention and watching. And so that shows you right there that they're invested in trying to be what you need them to be. You know, in preseason on the track, Taylor was really good, and you know we've been 4 weeks of practice, and she's practiced 1 week, so we've really missed that part, not just what she brings to the table from a basketball standpoint, but her voice. Rory is there most days. Sonia's really good in transition. She talks a lot and communicates, which is something I really, you know, we really want and need. And so, and if you watch, you know, Amo's kind of emotional. She gets something going. Makes a big play. She'll get pretty fired up about it and knock somebody down, chest bumping them. So, you know, and again, you want kids you want to see them being excited about things. And so, you know, I think that's probably, did I miss anybody? I think that's kind of where it's at. You know, I think that, you know, you need your best players to be those leaders, both vocally and on the floor every day in their production. So I think we've got some to pick from there. But you'd like Rory as a point guard to certainly be your one that's talking and communicating the most.
Anything else?
What's your biggest concern right now?
The rebounding piece in the defense right now. I think offensively we can do some things. I don't think it's real complicated, but we've got to get good in a hurry defensively, and we've got to have a little better focus rebounding. Like, we were terrible the other night on out-of-bounds defense, but I haven't worked on it. It's nobody's fault but my own. So, I mean, that's not like today in practice, we're going to work on that a little bit. But just the focus of being intentional, shot goes up, butt in the gut. You know, but again, that's a learned response. How do you do that? The coach works on it every day. Well, we work on rebounding every day. We just haven't got it yet. That's part of defense. That's the last part. You make somebody miss, you got to get the rebound. It's part of defense. So we'll get there.
Have you ever gone into a season pleased with your defense? I mean, you've had a couple teams that had veterans come in, they probably got it. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there has been that, you know, those 2 out of 38, you know, and so this is no different. You know, my stomach hurts in November, like most Novembers, and you know, we'll get it. I think the thing that you have some type of confidence in is that I've been down this road a million times, right? So they'll get it, but it is a different. You know, we're just different. We're unique to what I've had in the past, and so we're trying to identify, okay, who's going to be our big wing defender? You know, who's that defender that can maybe cross and get somebody's 3 and 4? We all know what Rory brings to the table on the ball, but we got to find that perimeter defender, or maybe get that. Okay, who's, you know? And so we answered that question. We had to guard a monster inside player on Sunday, and we did a good job on her. We really did. I know she had a double-double, but we really did a good job defending her, I thought, and that was a team effort. It wasn't just one person, and so we've got to find some answers to those questions that I just posed, because those are things that'll kind of help separate us down the line.
When you say you're different and unique to what you've had in the past, what are you thinking of?
Just that, what I'm talking about as far as the having that shutdown wing defender that's got some size. You know, Audrey could go guard 3 and 4. If we had an undersized 4 that we had to deal with that maybe played like a guard, she was that person. Joanne Allen Taylor would take everybody's best wing player. Whoever the 2 or the 3 was, she'd take that player. And so now we had to identify them when we were here. So we're trying to identify those players right now and develop them. We don't have that right now.
Who's your leading contender?
It's a long list. You know, we're trying to find that person to understand. Hey, I know you want to score, and it's real important, but we need somebody that's going to really be that person that goes, "Hey, coach, I got that one. Let me guard them. I'll handle it." And so, you know, I think that's every good team's got to have those players. It's a selfless act. You know, it's. Sometimes you don't get to go to the press room, so they say, you know, when you shut down that other player that averaged 23 a night and you held them to 8, you know, on 4 of 15 shooting, that ain't the first person y'all are wanting to come in here, you know, but it's the one that helped us win that night. And so we got to get that person. You know, we got to find those people, and finding them is develop them. And in my mind, I've got to develop that player right now. We don't have that player on our team. We have the player, we just don't have the skill set. I've got to develop that person.
I think not having to talk to us is actually incentive.
I was actually going to say, I was going to say the opposite. It's a big deal to talk to.
Reward.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get my drift. I mean, it's just you gotta develop that, and I have to develop that in these kids. And like she said, we have 6 new players. You know, 4 out of the portal and 2 freshmen, and all of them are going to play. Like every one of them is going to play. Every one of them can be a difference player for us on any given night. Well, that's great, but we're still developing that chemistry, and so we're going to get tested so early by some really good teams that, you know, we need to try to be ready for those games, and those games are going to be here in 2 weeks.
What's new, cool, and different about the Moody Center that you didn't have before?
I think the thing I noticed the other night was just the fans are so much closer. They're on top of you, and I just think that's way different than the drum. You know, you could get spread out in there, and so I that's the first thing. The second thing is I think the court, it just lightens up the room. You know, it lightens up the building. They tell me it's a different type of base, oil base versus whatever this is, water base. But just the whole finish of the floor just brightens up the room. So I think for me it's certainly the fan and the accessibility and them being so close, and that makes it pretty cool. So we needed it desperately, as you know, and just changes the whole atmosphere. 3,400 the other night was pretty loud. And that was pretty fun for our kids. They all made note of it in film the other day and said how fun it was. When you heard Sonia in post game, I think she was pretty excited about how it went that day.
Shaylee, what do you think?
About the game or
about this building and?
I mean,
are the locker rooms cool? Or?
Oh yeah, I mean all the facilities. We just moved into our new locker room like 3 weeks ago. The BBR is awesome. I'm just, grateful that we have all that stuff and, we use it. But, yeah, the Moody Center is awesome to play in.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.